Good morning, everybody. It's been a minute since I've been on here. Just haven't really been, I don't know, just been in a funk lately, the last couple months. This winter is a pretty slow winter. Probably the hardest winter I've had in the last 4 years. Trying to make ends meet, trying to land jobs. I just think there's a lot of people that have a misunderstanding about tree work and that we don't work in the wintertime, when in all reality it's best to do trimming and stuff like that on trees when they're dormant. But it's our job as arborists to get the word out there and teach people about their trees and how to care for their trees, because the random person down on the road or on the streets doesn't know what a tree is. They can label the tree, but they can't necessarily tell you what it is or how it grows or what the basic functions of a tree are. So it's our job to get the word out there and try to educate people on how to maintain their trees. But this winter so far, I'd say in the last 2 months, I've only had about a handful of jobs. I'm on my way to go look at a job right now, but it's a small job. Get a price on it, see what they think about the price, and try to get it on the schedule. I try not to be too pushy. It's the beginning of the year, so now's the time to invest in advertising, whether it be social media or just physical advertisements, billboards, yard signs, cards, door hangers. We're on the process right now. We're printing off door hangers. We're going to try to canvass some areas, just get the name out there, not necessarily pushing a service, just notifying people that, like, hey, we're out here. And a lot of people don't know that they need tree work until someone brings it up to them or just kind of nudges them in the right direction. It's pretty cold out today. I think it's like 10 degrees out with a real feel of like -2 or something. Pretty miserable. I try not to pick up too much extra work as far as like outside of tree work. I try to do like junk removal and snow removal and stuff like that, but I don't have a plow for my truck, so I can't really go out and plow driveways. So I try to shovel what I can. I salt everything that I can. Now's a good time to do your spring cleaning or get started on it. So I've been pushing the junk removal. Like, we'll come out, haul your trash away, your unwanted items, or we offer the dumpster rental. We drop it off and then we just come back, pick it up, dump it. But I think a lot of it has to do with, as far as work being slow, a lot of it has to do with the economy and people just not having the money to put into things. Because when you think about trees, most of tree work is a want and not a need. The only time it's a need is if it's a risk factor. You got a big tree, dying branches. Just a compromised tree is a risk. All trees pose some sort of risk, whether they're perfectly living or they're declining. So it's all about trying to mitigate most risk. I was kind of putting my resume out there. I still want to run my business. I definitely want to do that, want to build, but I'm trying to think about relocating somewhere that's more year-round, good weather. So I've been looking into Florida. I applied for an arborist position for Universal Studios, Orlando. I did get a call back. I had 2 interviews. They were ready to pull the trigger on me. They really wanted me, but I kind of got ahead of myself and applied for this job, not knowing how I was going to relocate down there. And then when we started getting into the cost of living, For a studio apartment, it would be around $1,500 a month. It just doesn't make sense to me. Especially when I have kids and a wife and dogs and a house up here. I would have to move down there and live without them for X amount of months to get established until we were ready to either sell our house or put it up for rent and then relocate everybody down here, which we would have to wait till end of the school season so that way the kids weren't pulled out of school. But then you think about, check the school system down there. It's not the best school system. So then we start contemplating homeschooling, which has its benefits, but that means the wife wouldn't be able to work, and she's trying to get into a nursing program right now to kind of help make ends meet, and I don't want to prevent her from doing something that she wants to do. So we're just kind of in this weird limbo, this awkward situation. I think the goal right now is just to start paying off some of our debts, get more in a comfortable spot, get the house ready for if we decide to sell or rent. It's already ready. So I ended up turning down that position in Florida. I talked to them about when it's time for me to move down and I'm ready to make that move, will you still accommodate? And they pretty much said, just reach back out to us and we can see what we can do. So it's pretty hopeful there that will work out in the future. If not, then it doesn't. But our goal was always to move down south regardless, so that way I could still get decent contracts, doing tree work, try to stay busy all year round. But you guys tell me, is that a realistic goal? Is that something that can actually happen, or is it just me hoping and wishing that it'll turn out? Just let me know. But going back to running the business, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make things run smoother, get my name out there, land more jobs. You know, when the season's good, it's good. I mean, I got work, I'm staying busy every single day of the week. I'm doing estimates almost every single day, which that's going to change. I'm going to try to dedicate one day to doing estimates. That way I'm not just running around multiple days, doing jobs or getting off work and then going out and doing estimates. That's just too much. So I'm going to try to dedicate one day, probably like a Friday, have the guys maintenance everything while I go out and do estimates. Got a lady standing in the middle of the road right here for some reason. I've been trying to be more firm on my pricing. Obviously on the winter seasons like now, it's dog eat dog, so people are out there underbidding everybody trying to get the work because everybody needs money. I was just dealing with a customer yesterday and we were just going back and forth on pricing, and this company came back at this number, can you match it? Oh, I get tired of doing that. But you do what you got to do to try to keep the bills paid. I'm going to hear back from him today to see if this other company that they're going to get an estimate from is going to be cheaper or more expensive or whatever. But I already dropped my price about $1,000 just to get the job. Job's an hour and a half away, so I got to put in travel time and all that. So I try to hook them up on travel time, lower the cost, and not doing stump grinding and hauling the grindings out, just flush cutting the stump. So minimal equipment, less hours. I try to cut down on the travel time. So I want to say it's a 81 or 91 mile drive. I was charging $2.75 a mile. I dropped that down to $1.75 for him to save costs, so that almost saved him $200 right there, plus stump grinding and hauling away the grindings. I saved him $500, and I came down on the cost of the removal a little bit as well. In the good season, I'm pretty firm on my pricing. I don't like to price match. I don't play that play that game of who's cheaper. I know my worth. I know what I need to charge for my equipment to be out there, what I charge hourly for my labor, cost of dumping, fuel, literally all of it. I mean, it all adds up. You can't do stuff for free, like, ever, because that's not a smart way to run a business. You run your business like that, you're not going to be profitable, and you're going to be trying to make ends meet. And it gets frustrating because stuff does happen, and you got to think of all the possible outcomes and possibilities of things going wrong. So if you got enough money on it, it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't got enough, then you're losing your ass on it. I've been trying to get a hold of some local businesses as far as other tree companies in the area, see if they got work, and I can go help them out here or there. Contract climbing, or just honestly just dragging brush. I jacked my shoulder up a couple weeks ago, so it's kind of hard for me to do a lot, but I'm still pushing through. I applied to a couple local jobs, doing some line clearance or something, just to get some money in the bank. And who knows, it might be a long-term thing where I'll just work a full-time job and then run the business on the side. I just don't want to commit to a high-profile job, something that people are looking to apply for and make a career out of it. I'm just in that position as a temporary person. I don't want that. I do provide a lot of knowledge. I provide a lot of skill set, certifications, stuff like that. So I am valuable. So if I'm only at a job for 6 months, they got what they, let's say they got their money's worth. Hoping to get my ISA certification February. All we're waiting on right now is just money to come in, so that way I can pay for the test and go in and take it. Just got to do a little bit more studying, and then I'll be good to go. But like I said, we are on our way to look at a job right now. I'll kind of show you guys through that process, I guess. Not really through it, but show you what we're looking at. Kind of how I quote it. Sounds like it's just a bunch of tiny stuff growing up against the house and garage. Sucker growth in between fences. So not necessarily a big job, but a job that'll pay a couple $100. I'll turn the camera back on once we get there. We'll be there in about 2 minutes, so should be there soon. So there's a big silver maple. So this is the house we're looking at. There's a big silver maple in the neighbor's backyard. There's that big limb right here that comes over the property. So I'm assuming they're going to want that cut back. And then there's another smaller limb, kind of right here, reaches out towards the roof. Cut that back. Got this linden tree up front. I'm not sure if they're wanting it cut down or just trimmed back. I'd recommend just trimming it back. It is a city tree. We're gonna drive around back and see what's along there. But we got these little suckers, mulberry suckers here that need to come out. Got a small elm tree growing right there. We're gonna drive around back and see if we can see anything else. See if we can see anything else along the garage or the house. I did see some other like suckers growing up through the fences that need to be cut down. So I just want to go around back, check the garage, see if there's anything around there that needs to be cleaned up. Good sized catalpa tree right there. So this green garage here. There's another view of that limb of that silver maple tree. Got this mulberry tree right here along the fence, kind of encroaching on the property and on the garage. Cut that out. Got some suckers on the corners of the garage. Cut all that down. and that stuff down the fence line. Nothing too crazy. So that's what we're gonna get a price on when I get back to the office. I will figure everything out and send the number out, and hopefully we can land this job. Pretty simple. The hardest part would be that neighbor's limb stretching right over the property line, and I'm sure they don't care if I'll cut that off, and I mean, it's less for them to worry about. The tree's kind of already decaying and rotting, so it's going to help them out in the long run. Maybe they don't want to pay for that right now. Maybe they're just worried about the suckers along the fence line and close to the house and garage. I don't know. But I'll give them a price on all of it. Just tell them, hey, this is what I noticed. This is what I suggest. Always trying to make that sale, but at the same time being reasonable. You don't want to be selling people on stuff they don't need. You just bring some things up to their attention. Bring it to their attention and leave it up to them to decide what they want to do. If you're in a business to where you got to provide estimates on services, what do you guys normally do? Do you just give them the lump sum number? Hey, this is what it's going to cost. Or do you break it down for the material costs, man hours, equipment, travel, fuel? I try not to add man hours into my estimates because I got my hourly rate, but typically when you're charging per man hour, it's always more than what the hourly rate is. Kind of helps cushion that payroll account. But I itemize everything I do as far as what I'm doing. So trees growing up in between fences, X amount of dollars. Removing large lead on silver maple from neighbor's tree, reaching over property line, X amount of dollars. So I'll itemize it that way. I don't really add in equipment unless I gotta rent something or something I don't typically bring out on a job site. Usually the equipment cost is added into the tree removal cost or tree trimming cost. If I gotta bring a chipper out, a trailer, trucks, whatever it may be, that's usually added in, and I note that on there as well, saying, you know, this price is for the removal of this tree and hauling away all debris, includes all equipment costs, so on and so forth. But how do you guys normally do it? I know everybody's a little bit different. I used to add it all in and have a lump sum number, but then I had people asking, you know, can you give me a breakdown of that and this and that? So it just saves more time just to kind of already give them a breakdown. That way you don't have to go back in and give them a breakdown. At the same time, you're not entitled to they're not entitled to a breakdown. So if they're demanding a breakdown, you don't need to give it to them, but at that point you're putting your business on the line because you're not being a reasonable business owner. People want to see where their money goes, and I fully understand that. So I try to be as transparent as possible. Just looking at this tree over here I trimmed up a couple years back. It looks pretty darn good. Happy with that. Yeah, let me know. How do you guys do things? If you haven't already, please subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I just started it, so there's not too many videos on it. As work picks up, I'm going to get better at making videos. It's just the editing process is very monotonous and time consuming, and I'm still learning that whole process, so you just got to be patient with me when I do put up videos. I would like to put up every single job I do, but some jobs just aren't video worthy. Plus, you know, in the good season when I'm super busy, I just don't have time, so I might end up hiring somebody to do my videos for me. I really don't know yet. But we're heading back to the house now. We'll get this estimate together for them, send it out, and hopefully get a response by today or tomorrow and get them on the schedule. If there's anything that you guys want from me, something you want in the video or a topic to talk about, please comment down below. Please let me know, and I'll try to make that happen for you. That being said, I hope you guys have a safe week, Stay warm out there. I know it's pretty cold out through the entire U.S. right now. It's snowing down in Florida, which is crazy. But yeah, you guys be safe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.